Hello everyone, you are welcome to Web Chrony Online YouTube channel. Thank you for clicking to see what I have to share with you today. If you are joining me for the very first time, I appreciate your coming. Kindly click on the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel now, and if you enjoy this content, kindly leave a like on this video. In today's lesson, you will learn 4 different classes of web elements. We will begin with the audio element, then continue with the video element, the anchor tag or link element, and finalize this lesson with containers. With my Visual Studio Code already opened, let's jump right into it. But before we do that, I have the link to my WhatsApp group where I share links to my resources and also offer personalized assistance to my subscribers in the description. Go check it out and join now. Now let's begin. Okay guys, so I already have my Visual Studio Code open, so I'll move my cursor to this icon and click to open the Explorer. I have my index.html file here, so I'll click to open that one. Now this is where we ended the previous lesson, so I will click on the go live to show what we had. Okay, so this is what we did in our last 2 lessons. I will restore down this page and also restore down my Visual Studio Code so that I can show both my code editor and my result at the same time. Alright, so beginning with the audio element, like the name suggests, we use the audio element to display an audio file. The audio file can then be played on the browser, or we can also perform certain functions or operations with it. So to declare an audio element is just a matter of typing audio and then hit enter for the emmet to do the rest. So the audio element comes with an attribute called src, and the src is the path to the file we wish to display as an HTML element. The src can be an external file, which is the link to an external file, or we can create the path in our local machine where the file can be located. But before we continue, I would like to create a new folder in my files folder, so I'll click on the files folder and click on this icon to create a new folder called audio. So I'll move one file from my local machine. Let me just drag and drop. So I'll drag and drop this audio file into the audio folder. Okay, so let me close it like this. Great. So at the src, I can locate this audio file that I have just added to the audio folder in the files folder. And because the index.html is in a folder called HTML, I will have to move out of that folder. And to move out of your current folder, we bring 2 full stop followed by a /. Now we are out of the current folder. Now we move on to the folder where the audio folder can be found, which is the file. So I'll type my files and then bring my /. I'll then move to the audio and then bring / and then select my mp3. Okay. Now when we come to the browser, we can't see anything here. And the reason why we can't see anything here is because there is an attribute that we need to bring in order to display the audio element, and this attribute is called controls. So the moment I bring this attribute called controls and I scroll down, you will see that the audio file has been displayed here. I can click on the play button to start playing the audio. I can mute it. I can also reduce the volume. I can also click on this 3-dot menu to increase the play speed or download the audio file. Okay. Now I can also add some more attributes depending on what I want to achieve with this audio element. So for example, I can set it to auto play, and as the name suggests, the audio will start playing immediately the web page is loaded. Okay, I can also set it to another attribute called loop, and what the loop instructs the browser to do is that the browser should keep playing the audio file as long as the user is on the current page. Okay, There are so many other attributes that can be added to an audio element. It's just a matter of hitting the Control Shift and then the list will show. All right, and there are so many of them. Depending on what you want to do, you can select an attribute to satisfy that need. Okay, don't also forget that the SRC of image or an audio or a video can be referenced from an external file using the URL to that file. Okay, so suppose you have a file in your Google Cloud Storage or any cloud storage service provider, you can just get the link to the actual file and then paste it in the SRC and it will work just fine. All right, great. So now we move on to the video element. Okay guys, so creating a video element is as easy and simple as creating an audio element. But before we go ahead to do that, I would like to create a new folder in my files folder. So I'll select the files folder and then create a new folder and call it videos. I'll now select one file from my local machine and then paste it into the videos folder like this. Alright, so I'll close this tab and then also collapse this side menu. Then I'll go ahead to create my video element. Just like the audio element, if you wish to create a video element in HTML, we just type the video keyword and then hit enter for the Emmet abbreviation to do the rest. The SRC is similar to what we did in the image or audio. So the SRC is just a matter of bringing the path where the file can be located or the URL if the file is on an external server. Okay, so I'll just move out of my current folder, which is the HTML folder, by bringing my double full stop followed by a /. I'll move into the files folder, bring my /, move into the videos folder / and then the video will come. Now as you can see, unlike the audio element where if you don't bring controls it will not display, the video element will display except that you cannot play it or do anything with it. And if you wish to make it a playable video, you just bring the attribute called controls like this. And the moment you bring the controls, now the video can be played. So I can click on the play button for it to be played. I can also click here, download it, increase the playback speed, or maybe play it as in a smaller screen. All right, great. Now we can also set some more attributes to the video element. An example, we can have an autoplay. So let's say you have a website and you want to display some advertisement. Immediately the page loads, the video will start playing if you set it to autoplay. All right, we can also set the loop such that it will keep playing. If the video is short, it can keep playing. So that will be all for the video element. There are so many other attributes we can add to the video element, and if you wish to have it, you just hit the control space and all of it will show, right? So there is one called muted, and as the name suggests, the video will play but there will be no sound. Okay, all right, so let me just leave it like that. Okay, so now we move on to the anchor tag or the link element. Okay guys, so the link element or the anchor tag is used to link different web pages together. Let's think about it this way. You have a website that has about 3 or 4 web pages. At any point in time, you can display only one web page, but there should be a way to bring in the other web pages when you need them. And the way we do that is to link them together. And in HTML, we use the anchor tag to achieve this purpose. To begin with, I'll create a new HTML file. So I'll move my cursor to this icon and click to open the Explorer. So when I select the HTML and click on this icon, I will create a new file called contact.html. Now that I have my file created, I'll go ahead and hit the exclamation mark, and then with the help of Emmet abbreviation, I can pre-populate this code into it. Now I'll change the title of this web page to contact page, and inside the body I will have an h1 element which says this is contact page. Let's keep it simple like this. Now we need to find a way to display this contact page from the main page or the home page or the index page. Okay, so I'll come to the index page and then create my link element or the anchor tag. To create an anchor tag in HTML, we just type A like this and then hit enter for the image to do the rest. Now as you can see, we have an attribute called href, which is the URL to the web page we want to access from this place. Okay, so it can be an external web page or a web page that have been created internally. So whatever the case may be, you just have to give the URL in the href attribute. If it is a local machine, it's just a path to the web page, and if it is an external page, it's just the URL to that page. Okay, before we come back to the href, there should be a text to be displayed so that the user will know that okay, this is a link that if I click it will send me to a different place. So I'll just say go to contact page, and when I scroll down you will see it right here. By default, the browser displays an anchor tag or a link element in a purple or blue color, and the text has been underlined, and if you move the cursor to the text, it changes the cursor to a pointer. Great. So if I click it like this, it will refresh the current page, and the reason is that we have not provided any URL or any path to the web page we want to access, so it will refresh the current page. If we wish to navigate from the current page to another page, we just have to give value for the href attribute, and because the contact.html file is in the same folder with the index.html file, we can just locate it by bringing a full stop, a forward slash, and then typing the contact.html like this. So now if I scroll to the bottom and then click on the go to contact page, it will now navigate me from the current page to the contact page. Is that okay? Now let me go back to the contact page and then create another anchor tag that will send us back to the index page or the home page. So I'll bring my A like this, hit enter, and I'll give a text that says go to home page like this. All right, so now I have the go to home page right here, and if I click it, it will refresh the page, and the reason is that we haven't given any value to the href attribute. So again, the contact.html is in the same folder with the index.html, so I'll just bring a full stop, a forward slash, then I'll bring my index.html like this. So now when I click it, it will take me back to the home page. Is that okay? Great. Now let's look at another use of the anchor tag. It can be used to download files from a web page. So for example, you have a website for blogging music, audio of any type, or videos, or maybe documents. We can have an anchor tag that will download it. Is that okay? So to do that, I'll create another anchor tag like this. If you like, you can give it an href. If you like, you can leave it blank. Okay, then let's give it a test and say download audio like this. Okay, now in order to make it a link that can download a file from a web page, we have to set a new attribute called download like this, and then the value for this attribute will be the file that you wish to download. Okay, so I'll just copy this src here, and then paste it as the value for the download attribute. Okay, so if I click on the download audio, you see that the audio file has been downloaded. When I go to show all, the file that has been downloaded is right here. Okay, great. So the anchor tag is used to navigate between web pages, and it can also be used to download files. All right, great. Now let's move on to containers. Alright guys, so now we move on to containers. Containers are used to group web elements so that they can be separated from each other. And the commonest container in HTML is called div. So to have a div as a container, we just have div like this and hit enter, and then the container has been created. This container can contain text, image, input, any other web element, including other containers. Okay, so I can have another container. So I'll just type div and I'll say this is a container in a container. Okay, I can have an h1 element here, so I have h1. This is an h1 element in a div container. Okay, we can also have an image, so I'll have my img and I'll source it to /files and then select image1 like this. I can also have an input, so input, and then I'll set a placeholder to input in a div container. All right, so that'll be all for the divs. The other containers are just like the div, it's only the name that changes. And as a matter of fact, each of them can be used to represent the others, can be used to perform the functions of the others. All right, so let's move on to the second type of container that we have, which is called section. The section is just like the div. I'll say this is a container called section. Nothing too different from the other containers. We can have another container called footer, and as the name suggests, if you have a web page and you want to create a footer, you can use the footer container to do so. But you know, you can use the other containers to do that. You can use a div, a section, or any other container. It's only the styles that matter. Okay, the style sheet or the CSS that matters. All right, we have another one, so let me just give some text. This is a footer. Okay, there is another one called header, and as the name suggests, this is a header. We mostly use this one to create headers in an HTML file or a web page. Okay, but again, you can use a div or a section for that. Okay, now there is one more container that I would like us to take a look at, which is the form container. Now the form container comes with some more attribute that require special attention. So let's take a look at the form container. Let's type form and then hit enter. All right, so with a form we have an attribute called action. Okay, and this action talks about a URL or an action that you want to perform using this form when it is submitted. Okay, and mostly we link this part to the JavaScript or the scripting language of our web application or our website. Okay, now there is one more attribute called method, and the method is used to inform the script or the kind of action we want to perform with this form. We have the get method, the put method, the post method, and then the patch method. So the get method is used to obtain data from an API. For example, if you have a website and you have a search bar, when you type something in the search bar and you hit enter, it will go and query what you are searching for in the database, and it will bring you a result, and that is a get request. Now when you post data, let's say you are creating a new account, you are writing a post, you are writing an article, or you are uploading an image, it is a post method, because this way you are sending data from the client to the server. Okay, and that is a post request or a post method. Now the put and the patch are pretty much the same. They are used to update information. So suppose you have a user and the user wishes to change their phone number or their email address, you can use the put method or the patch method to achieve this result. Okay, now there is one more called dialogue, and the dialogue is more or less like having a conversation or maybe having a chat system where you can chat with people. Is that okay? Now all these are being determined by the JavaScript or the scripting language you are using and the kind of activity you may want to perform with this form. All right, so let me say I can have a get method. So there are more. When you hit Control space, all of them will come like this. So the one that you prefer, you can choose, and then you do whatever you wish to do with it. All right, so you can also have on submit, on load, on key press, on click, and whatever. So there are so many attributes on this form container. All right, so inside the form container we can have input, and let's say the placeholder, let's set the placeholder to Jon Snow. Okay, we can create another input and then maybe set the placeholder to, let's say, Jon Snow at hbo.got. okay, and this time around we will set the type to, let's say, email. All right, then maybe we can have one more input, and then this time around we set the type to button like this, and then a button should have a value, which is the text that will be displayed in the button. So I'll set the value to, let's say, submit. Okay, so as you can see we have it right here. Okay, so that will be all for today. Thank you very much for clicking to see what I have for you today, and thank you for sticking with me to the very end. I appreciate that a lot. If you haven't already, kindly leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and with that being said, I will see you in the next lesson. Peace out.